Hey guys, welcome to the fish room. Today we've got a fun and a little bit tough project. I'm running a little bit low on time, so I've got to do this fast today because one of my friends is coming over to help me move a tank, and I got to do it in time so that we don't waste his time later. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving the African cichlid tank slightly over that way. We're going to push it over, and we're also going to be changing the tank. So right now it's a rimmed tank. I'm not sure what you call it. It's a frame tank. It's got the black rim, and I really like the look. You can see this one has a gray rim. We're going to change this tank in the future as well. But this one, it's a nice tank and it's still good. I haven't even used it for 2 years, so I might put this up on sale for a cheap price and see if anyone nearby in Japan will purchase it, which I'm pretty sure there will be because I've sold a few tanks before too. But yeah, you can see all my other tanks here. These are all rim tanks. They're the same kind. They've got the black frame around it on the bottom and on top, and I really like this look. I'm doing a water change on this tank now, so it's a little bit cloudy. But yeah, here as well you can see these smaller tanks as well have the black frame, and I know they're really popular in the US. I'm not sure about Europe, but in Japan they're also very popular too because they're more affordable than the rimless tanks. But with this fish room, my goal is to have it so that the display tanks are going to be all rimless. And then the tanks that are sitting on the racks, on these two racks here, these will be framed, rimmed tanks. It's kind of, is it rimmed or frame? Yeah, because in Japan we call it frame tanks. We don't say rim. So the middle of the room, as well as the tanks on that wall and on this wall, which is my contest tank, will be all rimless tanks. And I think that will just look much better. It'll just look a little bit more professional instead of having a rim tank here or a rimless tank there and just being like all jumbled up. I want a nice clean look, so slowly we're going to change this one out. This is a 2-footer. I'm actually going to replace this with that rimless tank over there, and that one's gonna move out of the way, and we're going to put a 90 centimeter rimless tank there, which I already have, just sitting in the storm. I gotta get onto that project. Today we're going to be changing this one, the 4-foot tank, African cichlid. You can see my contest tank, which I can't really show you right now because the results still haven't come out yet. But this is also a rimless tank, so that's good. And then this tank here is the new tank that will be changing for the African cichlids. And you can see it is very nice. It's actually the super clear glass type, the low iron glass, so you can see it's a little bit bluish compared to the greenish color that you usually get. I'm going to go ahead and move this tank because this tank needs to go out of the way because the African cichlid tank is coming over here. So we're going to move this, and we're not going to redo this tank today. This is going to be the next series. So we're going to empty out this tank and move it over here. Then we're going to replace the tank. But I gotta get on with it. I don't have much time, so let's do this. And I'm going to time-lapse quite a bit today so that I can get my work done. See you guys later. Alright, so I've moved the 60 centimeter tank over into this corner. It's going to be here just temporarily until we get the new tank set up. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move this stand over towards this side, and I'm going to try my best with the tank still on it. So later when my friend comes, we'll just swap out the tanks and that'll be it. But you can see right here, I've got this rubber mat underneath the stand. I've got rubber mats underneath all my stands, even my contest tank there, under all the wooden stands, I must say, because so number one is just to prevent it from getting wet if I ever spill water on the floor. Like if I'm doing water change and I accidentally overflow the tank, it won't directly get the bottom of the cabinet wet. So I've got this small layer of protection. And then secondly, what's the second reason? I don't think there is a second reason. I think, yeah, it's just to prevent the wood from getting wet. So that's why I have this. I'm gonna clean this up a bit. It is a little bit dusty. And then we'll try my best to put the stand back on that rubber mat. Alright, so I didn't think I would get this far alone, but I managed to clear out space on this stand, and I shifted this the old tank over, and now I can go ahead and place the sponge mat on this stand. And I've already cut this out to size so that it fits perfectly. Now I think for added stability, I'm going to put double-sided tape and stick this on so that it doesn't move about. And the reason why I need this now is because we're changing to a rimless tank, and rimless tank doesn't have any protection on the bottom, so you want to make sure you have something soft. You can use styrofoam as well, but I prefer to use something more cushiony like this. Also, when we get earthquake, this will prevent the tank from shifting around. So it's good to have this under rimless tanks. I have it under my contest tank as well. You can see right here this black sponge, and underneath the 𝗯𝘂𝗶𝗲𝗀𝘀 as well. So make sure you have something underneath your rimless tanks. But under rimmed aquariums, you don't need anything. There he is. Hello. Very beautiful car you have. Yes. 今日お願いします。はい。一人で行ける。まあ一人は無理だな。ゆっくりでよろしいよ。手挟んでる？まだ手挟んでる。もうちょいそっちだね。もうちょいそっち。でもうちょい後ろ。ここからがちょっと難しい。したら滑らないやつ。So we've got the tank in place, lights in the fish room starting to go out. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the rocks over and the fish over as well. However, this is not going to be its final scape. In a few weeks' time, I'm planning on getting some new materials for the African cichlids, and we're going to do a beautiful scape for them. But for right now, we're just going to use some of the rocks that we had, some of the rocks that are still in this tank, and maybe if there's still enough space, I've still got some of this same kind of rock. It's a sandstone, but I've still got some of this outside, and it's quite dark right now, but like right here, these are some of the sandstones. And just like that, we've got the tank installed, the rocks in, and the fish are in as well, and it is looking so nice. So with this tank, I've gone with a light blue color background. Usually I only go with white or black as the previous tank was. But I was inspired by someone on Instagram called Malawi Aquascapes, and we'll put some images up on here. But it just looks so natural. And then I was also looking at some shots of African cichlids in the wild in Lake Malawi. And the background was just a blue color. There's no black or there's no white background. It was like a nice light blue color. So that is why it might be a little bit hard to tell on camera. But it is a light blue color and I really love it. And in the future, I'm hoping to get some nice rocks that are bigger so that we can fill up more of the top space. Some people might say that they need more space to swim about, but these are rock dwellers. The fish that I've gone with, yellow labs and 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝗶𝘀𝘀𝘀, they like to swim in and out of all the rocks, build little caves, and that's why I want to have as much rocks in this tank as I possibly can. Also, having a lot of rocks will increase the chance of me getting babies from them, because in the past I've had babies get eaten. Believe it or not, when the babies are small, they do fit in the mouths of the larger fish, and they will prey on their own babies. So that's why you gotta give them lots of hiding spots so that the babies can also hide and survive. I really want to make this tank look as natural as possible, and I don't want to have to artificially raise the babies. I don't want to have to pull out the female, get all the eggs, and then incubate the eggs and hatch them out. I just want them to do their own thing naturally. I think that'll be best, and that'll be the most enjoyable for me. The stickers are still on the tank. I've left that because that's the most satisfying part. We gotta do that on camera, so let's peel this thing off. So you can see that this tank is pretty cloudy right now. That's because I was moving sand in last night, and this morning I was just getting the last bits of sand from here and just dumping it in this tank, and you can see it got absolutely cloudy. But this will clear up in the next day or two, and I'm sure it'll look amazing in the next few weeks to come. And I can't wait to do more updates on this tank, redo the rocks in here, make it as I want. Right now it actually looks quite nice. It looks very natural in my opinion, like just the rocks just jumbled up, like no particular design that I've gone for. I just put the rocks in and put them on top of each other, try to give them as much caves and hiding areas as possible. You can just see one darted in there. That's what I love about these guys, when they go in and start running around in their tunnels and they just swim so effortlessly. It's just so fun to watch. Now the fish room is a mess though, and there's so much work I need to do. So once this video ends, I'm going to start cleaning up and making this room a little bit more presentable. And I may also move the tanks that tank I've got to move over here. And then we're going to move these fish out, the 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀𝘀𝘀. Look at them, looking so nice in there. But yeah, those guys have to go out, and I'm still debating which tank I should move them into. And they're going to move into a tank temporarily. I'm thinking about getting another one of these tanks, putting it up here, and then having it just for the 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀. I think that'll be a good idea. So yeah, I may do that. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.